Hi everybody and welcome back. This video will be another weekly recap. This will be for Monday, August 11th through today, Friday, August 15th. I'm recording this on the evening of Friday 15th. Real quickly, before I jump into the results of the transactions in the account for the week, wanted to quickly go over, like I always do, what the strategy is of the account. Deposit $6,000 per month into the account. 50% is used for options trading, which is held in the ticker SGOV. 50% is used to purchase high yield dividend stocks and ETFs. So 3,000 and 3,000. First of the month, I withdraw $6,000 on margin to pay for my mortgage and my student loans. And all the income generated pays down the margin balance throughout the month. So all the options and dividend income throughout the month goes towards the margin balance to bring it down. Eventually, the income generated will outpace the margin borrowed. And before I jump into the actual results for the week in the account, I was thinking about this earlier today. So almost every evening, my wife and I take my dog and my daughter out for a walk around our neighborhood. And it's always on Fridays, like today, when we step out of the house around 5:30, 6:30, somewhere around that time frame to go for our quick like around 1 mile 20 to 30 minute walk. We always make a comment to ourselves about how we wish we could bottle up that Friday feeling and make it every day, because Friday evening comes around. If you work an 8 to 5 job, you clock out at 5 o'clock, or you're done around 5 o'clock, and then you're going into the weekend, and you have Saturday and Sunday. You're not working typically if you're working a traditional 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, and we it's like one of our favorite feelings of the week. And that's kind of like the goal of this account, is to create that Friday feeling, quote, to make that an everyday feeling. And I truly believe by doing these things here, this is going to speed up that process and allow me to do it quicker. So I'm 37 years old. I would like to do this before, the traditional retirement age of 35, I'm sorry, 65, 67, even 70 in some cases. Um, so it just kind of reminded me of what the goal is, and kind of a real life scenario of how it plays in my life every day. So jumping into the results, options income. I traded the same tickers this week as last week, with the exception of RGTI. I closed RGTI for $1 plus the fees, and I did not get back into it. Instead, I traded all the other tickers the same, 3 put contracts like last week, for a total income of $84.98. Put contract of Starbucks, $70.33. I rolled my BROS contract for $135.68. The reason why this is so high is because I own these shares. Matter of fact, I made a mistake on this. This is not a put contract. This is a call contract. Made that mistake in here. So I own 100 shares of Bros, and I sold a covered call on it at my strike price of 63. When I sold it, it was sitting at like $63.05. So I just rolled it at the same 63 strike because I'm actually trying to get it called away. So I collected a lot more premium here. TNA, it was one put contract for $47.33. And then I own 700 shares of TSLL currently. I've owned them for a few weeks now. So the price was sitting a little below 13 when I did this. I rolled the 7 contracts for a total net credit of $163.35. So for the week, in options income, I brought in $501.67, which obviously went to pay down the margin balance. For dividends, no monthly payers this week, just weekly payers. So these ones pay every Friday. So for ULTY ULT, I got $73.34. XDTE, I received $116.68. And WiMAX, I received $11.02 for a total of $201.04, or a total of, it was about $702 for the week. Not bad considering last week I believe it was a little over 800, and I had the Misty dividend. So not too bad there. Jumping into what I did with the typical weekly deposit. This whole month it is $1,200 instead of $1,500 because there is 5 Fridays in the month. So with the $1,200 deposit, And I had a little bit of extra cash to play with this week because the put contracts that I had put on that I closed this week, some of them dropped in price, which means I was able to sell put contracts and tie up less capital. So I had a little bit of extra cash. I think it was like $200 or $300 to use towards kind of whatever I wanted. And since there's not really much you can, sell options on for $200 or $300, I decided to use it to buy more shares of other things. So with the $1,200 that I deposited this week, and then the extra couple $100 that I had from the difference in contracts that I was selling, I purchased 3 shares of PEP, which is Pepsi, for a total of $451.95. This is a new position. I just think that Pepsi has been beaten down a lot. They're a very large company. I know that they will eventually rebound. They are already starting to get into healthier things and adding healthier items into their portfolio, which is one of the reasons why they've been beaten down. Their dividend still remains strong, and their dividend percentage, I believe, is up near 4% right now, and the shares are about $150. So it's at a pretty low, relative low price, and I like it at this price. So I decided to jump in and get a few shares, and I'll keep building this position. YMAX, because I'm trying to keep the yield high as well. I bought 23 more shares of YMAX for a total of $301.30. Because I use half of this money typically to put into SGOV to use for options, I bought 6 more shares, so half of the 1,200 for $603.35. And then I mentioned I had a few extra, or a couple hundred extra bucks kind of sitting around from the difference in options contracts that I've been selling the last few weeks. I decided to buy 2 more shares of JEPI for a total of $113.44. Right now, my total current yield, or blended yield, I guess, for the portfolio sits about 25%. A few weeks ago, it was around 30. I'm not too concerned with the percentage right now, but I am trying to keep it higher right now in the beginning. That way I can kind of scale back as time goes on. I'm still in the beginning of this. I started this process in June, and I expect it to take at least 4 to 4.5 years before I can start hitting my goals, although I am ahead of pace right now. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll continue to report. I'll have another weekly recap next week, and then of course I'll do a monthly recap when we get close to the 1st of September. If you guys have any suggestions or ideas for a video you want to see, or want me to break down anything, or any questions, anything like that, let me know. Thank you for watching. Please follow if you don't already. Subscribe, comment, and let me know if you have any other questions, and I'd be happy to go over them. Thank you so much.